for joining. One last reminder before we jump right in, if you are new to Savi, feel free to scan this QR code and you'll go right to our page to search for your Savi partner and get started. Your Savi partner is the person who referred you to Savi, whether this is a membership organization or your employer. So simply search for their name and you'll be taken right to the registration page for that partner. If you don't get a chance to sign up right now, don't worry. This QR code will be back up throughout the presentation. So a couple of housekeeping things before we begin. We'd like to let you all know that this workshop is being recorded and informational materials will be made available to all of you after today's session. If you have any questions, please feel free to put those in the Q&A. We'll be answering them throughout the presentation. One of my teammates, Katie, is on helping out with questions, and we'll also take a break for questions at the end of the presentation as well. And last, if you need to use closed captioning, I'm putting a link in the chat, which includes instructions on how to turn those on. All right, so thank you again for joining. My name is Jobe, and I'm the Senior Associate of External Affairs here at Savi. During today's session, we'll go over an introduction as to who Savi is. After that, we'll do an overview of public service loan forgiveness, since that's the main program that we help borrowers apply for. After that, we're going to cover all of the major policy and program updates that you need to know about student loans. At the end, we will wrap up with how you can get started with Savi and a brief overview of what the Savi account looks like. So for those of you new to Savi, here's a little bit about us. We are a public benefit corporation, and we started around 5 years ago in order to help borrowers just like you all. We are run by experts and advocates that have over 2 decades of experience, and many of us also have student loans of our own. This means we have firsthand knowledge that helps us to help you even more. We're focused on savings, and we help you find savings through programs like income-driven repayment plans and public service loan forgiveness. If you're not familiar with those programs, don't worry, because we're going to cover them in more detail on some upcoming slides. A little bit more about us. Our goal really is to make it easier to manage your student loans. We help simplify the process for applying and enrolling in federal forgiveness programs. Working with Savi, you can reduce your student loan payment by an average of $150 a month. And on average, our users receive around $20,500 in forgiveness. So it's a great way to take advantage of a lot of savings on your student loans. So far, we've helped users find over $1 billion in projected loan forgiveness. And one of the biggest benefits of Savi is we have just one application for you to complete. By completing that application, you can see all of the federal forgiveness programs you qualify for, and then we'll help you get those applications created to enroll in them. So first up, let's talk about public service loan forgiveness. This is the main forgiveness program that we help borrowers apply for. Many people have heard of this, but you may not know all of the specific requirements that go into it. So let's break them down. In general, there are 3 requirements that you need to meet. First, you need to work for a qualifying employer. You need to work in public service, and a public service qualifying employer is a government organization at any level. This can be a federal, state, local, or tribal government. If you don't work for a government organization, you can also work for a not-for-profit 501c3. As long as your employer is a government organization or a nonprofit, it is an eligible employer type for PSLF, and you could qualify for forgiveness. You do need to work at least 30 hours per week in order to qualify. If you work under 30 hours per week and are considered part-time, you do still have options. You can combine multiple part-time employment in order to meet that 30-hour threshold. So for example, say you work 15 hours a week at a nonprofit, 15 hours a week at a local government organization. You can combine those hours to reach the 30-hour threshold so that you can qualify as well. The second requirement is that you do need to have direct federal loans. So for PSLF, only direct federal loans qualify for this program. If you don't have direct loans and you have other federal loans like FFEL loans or Parent Plus loans, those loans can be consolidated. That way they convert to direct and therefore qualify. PSLF is only for federal loans. So unfortunately, if you do have private loans, those will not qualify for forgiveness under this program. This forgiveness is only for federal loans. Any federal loans that aren't direct can be consolidated to convert and then become eligible. And last, you do need to pay your loans on a qualifying repayment plan. So for PSLF, you are required to pay your monthly payment on an income-driven repayment plan. These plans calculate your monthly payment ranging somewhere from 10 to 20% of your discretionary income, so they are designed to be affordable. Typically, lower incomes mean lower monthly payments. So by enrolling in an income-driven repayment plan, you can have an affordable payment and get your payment to count towards PSLF. Be sure to make that payment on time and for the full monthly amount to ensure that it counts. So those are the three main requirements. Now, how do you actually receive this forgiveness? Once you're meeting all three requirements, you then need to make 120 payments on your loans. This means that every payment you make needs to be made while working in public service, while you have direct loans, and while paying on an income-driven plan. Once you've made those 120 payments, though, your entire remaining balance is forgiven. So whether you have $1,000 left or $100,000, whatever balance you have left will be completely forgiven. And a really big benefit of this program is that PSLF forgiveness is not taxed at the federal level. So this means if you receive this forgiveness, you're not going to have to pay taxes on it. So it's a free and clear forgiveness that is really beneficial to public service workers. Another benefit is that these payments don't need to be consecutive, just cumulative. So it's okay if you have some gaps in your repayment history. Once you reach 120 cumulative payments, that's when you can receive this forgiveness. So because your payments don't need to be consecutive, it could take you longer than 10 years to earn enough credits. But on the flip side, it is going to be a minimum of 10 years before you can qualify. They'll only ever count one payment per month, which is 10 years. So how do you apply? How do you know how many payments you have? Luckily, that's all done with one form. You can submit something called an employment certification form. This is a form that is signed by both you and your employer. It proves you work in public service and helps you get credit for payments you've made while working there. The way this works is that once you sign and turn in this form, MOHELA, which is a federal loan servicer that manages PSLF, will go through and count up all the payments you made at that employer. They'll let you know how many payments you have and how many payments you still need to reach 120. You only get credit for payments that you have certified the employer for. So in order to get credit for all your payments, you need to submit forms for all of your public service employers. Once you have submitted your first round of these employment certification forms, which we call ECFs, you'll get credit for payments that you've already made. So if you already have some past payments made in public service, you can turn in forms now to get credit for those payments. After you turn in this first round, you'll know how many payments you still need to make in order to reach 120. We then recommend that you submit a form once per year to get credit for another year of payments and track your progress to 120. Technically, you can wait until you've made all 120 payments to apply, but that leaves you tracking down employers from 10 years ago, and it's more likely something could be missed. By submitting this form once per year, you ensure that you're getting credit for every payment that you've made, and if there are any issues, it's much easier to fix them in the moment rather than trying to go back and fix payments from years ago. So that is public service loan forgiveness in a nutshell. And I'll show you coming up soon how Savi can help you see if you qualify and how we can help you apply. In this next section, which we'll spend the bulk of our time on, we're going to cover all of the major policy and program updates that are affecting student loans. It's a very busy time in the student loan world right now, and there are new programs and announcements coming out sometimes daily, that are affecting student loan borrowers. So in this section, we're going to cover all of the updates you need to know. We'll talk about President Biden's one-time debt relief plan, the status of the payment pause, some improvements to public service loan forgiveness. We'll talk about upcoming one-time account adjustments, a new program for borrowers in default called Fresh Start, a new repayment plan, and then we'll sum it all up for you at the end, all of the important dates you need to know. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat, and we will take a break to answer some out loud, and my teammate Katie is already hard at work answering some. So first up, let's talk about the one-time debt relief plan. This is a brand new program that was announced by President Biden last year and is designed to give borrowers debt cancellation ranging from $10,000 to $20,000. Right now, this program is on hold due to pending lawsuits. So as of November 11th, the Department of Education is no longer accepting applications for this program. If you already applied, they are going to hold your application and there's no need to reapply. If the program continues, your application will automatically be processed, and if you didn't apply, applications will reopen. Because of the lawsuits, this program is on hold and no cancellation has been given out yet. Back on February 28th, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments to determine whether or not this program can continue. Now that the arguments have concluded, the Supreme Court is making their decision and we're expecting them to release it soon. Depending on what they decide, that will determine if this program continues and if this debt relief is given out. If they rule in favor of the plaintiffs, the program will not continue and the debt relief will not be dispersed. However, if they find that the plaintiffs didn't have standing, which means they didn't have a reason to sue, or if they rule in favor with the Biden administration, this program will continue and the cancellation will be given out. We are expecting a decision any day now. We are anticipating it will come out very soon. We are waiting to hear. So as soon as we get an update and know the fate of this program, we will be sure to notify all of our borrowers so that you can stay informed and take advantage of this debt relief if it does continue. Next, an update on the payment pause. The payment pause, when it was last extended, was extended to give the Supreme Court time to decide whether or not that debt relief program would continue. But a new bill was recently passed, which has set a permanent start date for student loan payments to begin. Some of you may have heard in the news recently about the debt ceiling bill. Last week, a bill was passed to help raise the debt ceiling and avoid default on U.S. loans. As part of the agreements under that bill, they did set a start date for student loan payments to resume of August 30th, 2023. This means that after more than 3 years, student loan borrowers will be entering repayment for the first time. Your student loan servicer will notify you when your payment is due and what your payment amount will be. We encourage you all to confirm who your loan servicer is and confirm your contact information by logging in at studentaid.gov. This will help you be prepared for when payments resume later this year. That way you know exactly what your payment will be and you are in the best position possible when these payments do resume. Something we'd like to let you all know about is the time during this payment pause will count towards public service loan forgiveness. Normally, you do need to be actively paying on your loans in order to earn progress towards your required 120 payments. But because the payment pause is a special situation, they are allowing borrowers to get credit for every month of the payment pause that they continued working in public service. So going all the way back to March of 2020, for every month that the payments were paused and you were still working, you can count that as a credit towards PSLF. This means by the time the payments resume later this year, you'll have the ability to receive over 40 free PSLF credits towards the 120 that you need. That's almost a third of the way without any money out of your pocket, letting you get even more loan forgiveness down at the end of the road. In order to get credit for those months, all you need to do is turn in an employment certification form for your employer during that time. Once you turn in that form, Mohila will automatically give you credit for any months that you were working during the payment pause. Next up, let's talk about some upcoming improvements to the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Starting in July, they will be making some permanent improvements to help more people qualify for PSLF and make it easier to apply. Some of you may have heard about the limited time PSLF waiver. That was a temporary expansion of the requirements to help more people qualify. The Department of Education realized how beneficial those changes are, and they're working to make some of them permanent. So they're doing this with two main goals. The first goal is to help borrowers earn progress towards PSLF more easily. These changes will let you get credit for late, installment, and lump sum payments. They'll also be allowing you to count certain forbearance and deferment periods towards PSLF. And a really big change, you'll be able to receive a weighted average of your existing payments on new consolidation loans. So normally, if you consolidate your loans, your payments reset to zero and you need to make 120 more to qualify. But these changes will take that weighted average of your existing payments. That way you don't start over at zero and you can continue your progress towards 120. The second goal is to make it easier to apply. They're doing this by applying a full-time employment standard of 30 hours per week. So in the past, some employers have definitions of full-time that are higher than 30 hours. And in those cases, borrowers working at those employers needed to work more than 30 hours. But moving forward, anyone working at least 30 hours will be considered full-time to qualify for PSLF. They'll also be allowing adjunct faculty to multiply their credit hours by 3.35. This will allow adjunct faculty to get closer to and hopefully over that 30-hour threshold so that they can qualify as well. And another change, in certain cases, contract workers will be allowed to certify their employment as well. So if you are a contract worker working via contract for a public service employer, you may be able to certify your employment and qualify for forgiveness too. These changes will take effect on July 1st, and once they are implemented, we will be sure to let everyone know. That way you can apply, get closer to forgiveness, and keep moving right along. Next up, let's talk about account adjustments. In April last year, the Department of Education announced that they were going to be making some improvements to address some long-standing problems borrowers have faced. So in the past, there have been some issues that borrowers have faced, and they haven't always gotten credit for all the payments they've made. These account adjustments serve as a course correction to make up for those issues, help borrowers get on track, and hopefully get closer to forgiveness. So these adjustments will be done automatically. And basically what will happen is the Department of Education is going to go back at all of your repayment history and give you credit for certain periods of repayment. In order to be included in these adjustments, though, you do need to have direct or FFEL loans that are managed by the Department of Education. So if you have older loans that aren't currently managed by the Department of Ed, you'll need to consolidate by the end of 2023. That way, your loans are managed by the Department of Ed and can be included when these adjustments happen. The account adjustments are happening independently of PSLF, so they're happening for all student loan borrowers, but it can still benefit you if you are a PSLF borrower. As long as you have certified your employment for the periods that are being adjusted, those adjustments will also count towards PSLF, putting you closer to 120. So what exactly will these adjustments be giving you credit for? The Department of Ed is going to go back and look at your entire repayment history and give you credit for any month that you were in repayment, regardless of whether your payments were partial or late, whatever loan type you had, or your repayment plan. As long as you made a payment, it's going to count. You'll also get credit for any months that you were in repayment, deferment, or forbearance before consolidating. So if you remember, I said that whenever you consolidated, your payment count reset to zero. These adjustments are going to give you credit for any payments you made before consolidating. That way, borrowers who consolidated will get credit for all the payments that they've made as well. In addition, they're going to be giving you credit for some forbearance and deferment periods. So if you were a borrower that was in forbearance for at least 12 consecutive months or 36 cumulative months, you're going to get credit for all of those months where your payments were paused. Those periods will be marked as in repayment and added towards your total. And finally, any month that you were in deferment before 2013 will be counted as if you were in repayment as well. The one exception to that is in-school deferment. So if your loans were paused because you were in school, that period isn't going to count. Otherwise, anytime you were in deferment will be marked as in repayment and added to your total. So basically what this means is that after these adjustments are done, many borrowers will see themselves closer to the finish line for forgiveness. So for PSLF, remember it's 120 payments you need to make. These adjustments will give you credit for more past payments, putting you hopefully closer to that 120. If you are a borrower that doesn't qualify for PSLF, there is a second forgiveness program called IDR forgiveness. Under that program, once you have enrolled in an income-driven plan and made your payment for 20 to 25 years, your remaining balance is forgiven. These adjustments will also benefit those borrowers, so you could see yourself getting closer to the threshold for IDR forgiveness. If you're a borrower that has been paying on your loans for that 20 to 25 period already, the Department of Education will start giving out that loan forgiveness later this summer. We expect these adjustments to be fully implemented in early 2024. So once we know more about the timeline and know that the updates have occurred, we will be sure to notify all of you. That way you can see how these adjustments have affected you and hopefully put you closer to forgiveness. Next up, let's talk about Fresh Start. This is a brand new program that is designed to help borrowers in default. In the past, borrowers in default had to go through a lengthy process to get back into good standing, but this new Fresh Start program will put you back into good standing as quickly and easily as possible. By participating in Fresh Start, borrowers will have restored access to income-driven repayment plans, forgiveness, and the ability to take out new student loans. In addition, by participating, there will be no more wage garnishment and no collections calls. If you are a borrower that has defaulted direct, FEL, or Perkins loans that are held by the Department of Ed, you are eligible to participate. They've made it really easy to enroll. All you need to do is opt in by calling your collections agency. Simply give them a call, tell them you want to participate in Fresh Start, and you'll be enrolled and transferred to a new servicer and brought out of default. The process takes about a month to complete, and once it's done, you'll be back into good standing and ready to go. If you're a borrower in default, we really do encourage you to take advantage of this program because there's so many benefits to it, and it's really great to be able to get back into good standing before payments resume later this year. So if you have defaulted on your loans, we encourage you to call your collections agency and enroll in Fresh Start. Next up, let's talk about a new income-driven repayment plan that will be unveiled later this year. Currently, there are 4 income-driven repayment plans available. One of those plans is called the Repay Plan. The Department of Education will be making some edits to that repayment plan, making it more affordable for borrowers. So this new plan will cap your monthly loan payment at 5% of your discretionary income for undergrad loans and 10% for your grad loans. As of right now, it's a flat 10% for everyone. So some borrowers will see their monthly payments reduced because of this new 5% cap. If you're a borrower that has a mix of undergrad and grad loans, you'll have a monthly payment that's a weighted amount based on your loan types and balances, and your payment will be somewhere from 5 to 10% of your discretionary income. One of the other big benefits of this program is that unpaid interest is also going to be covered. That way your loan balances are never increasing. This plan is also going to raise the amount of income that's considered non-discretionary. Basically, they're going to count less of your income towards your payment. So no borrower making under 225% of the poverty level will have a student loan payment. That's equal to about a $15 minimum wage. So if you are around that income level or below, you will not have a student loan payment. And another big change, borrowers with loan balances under $12,000 will receive forgiveness after 10 years instead of 20 years. So this new plan has a lot of benefits, and many people are going to see their monthly payment lowered under this new repayment plan. It's not available just yet, but we are expecting it to be released before payments resume. Once it is released, we'll be sure to notify everyone, and the Savi website will also be updated to allow you to enroll in this plan. So as soon as we know more, we will let you know. That way you can take advantage of these savings. All right, I know that was a lot of information. So here's a quick recap of all the important dates you need to know. Back in February, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments on President Biden's one-time debt relief plan. Sometime in June, we're expecting a decision on that plan to know whether or not it can continue. We're also expecting the new income-driven repayment plan to be released sometime soon this month. In July, those permanent PSLF improvements will take effect. One of the biggest and most important dates on this slide is that on August 30th, student loan payments will resume. That's the date where payments of interest will resume. So we encourage you to start working on your loans now. That way you are already ready to go once that date rolls around. In December, that'll be the deadline to consolidate your loans to be included in those account adjustments. And in early 2024, those account adjustments should be taking place. So those are all the important dates, kind of our timeline for the rest of the year. But as always, anything changes or when new things are announced, Savi will be sure to notify all of you. That way you can take advantage of all of these changes. Hopefully take advantage of some additional savings. All right, that's the bulk of the information we've got. So before we continue, let's take a quick break, look at some of your questions, and make sure we are all set before we move on and talk about how Savi can help with managing your loans. Someone asks a great question and says, is interest forgiven as well? It is. So under public service loan forgiveness, all of your principal and interest is forgiven. Whatever balance you have left when you make that 120th payment is going to be completely forgiven, so you don't need to worry about repaying it. It looks like there's a couple questions about the threshold for hours that you need to work. So under the new PSLF rules, you will need to work at least 30 hours per week in order to qualify for PSLF. Anyone working 30 hours per week will be considered full-time and be able to qualify. If you are an adjunct faculty member below 30 hours, they're going to let you multiply your hours by that 3.35 number. That way you can get closer to the 30-hour threshold for PSLF. A great question says, do you have to consolidate? So if you have direct loans already, you don't need to consolidate. The only people that need to consolidate their loans are people with federal student loans that aren't direct. This includes FFEL loans and Parent Plus loans, sometimes a couple other ones like Perkins loans, but FFEL and Parent Plus are the most common. Another great question, someone says, what if my income is mostly Social Security? So for borrowers that are only on Social Security or have a low income, by enrolling in an income-driven repayment plan, you could be approved for a $0 payment. The income-driven plans are designed to be affordable. So for low-income borrowers, in some cases, you can be approved for a $0 payment, meaning you won't be required to pay on your loans that month, and your loans will stay in good standing. So I'll show you coming up soon how Savi can help you see what your payment is and help you enroll in an income-driven plan. All right. It looks like my teammate Katie is still hard at work answering some of your questions. I don't see any more popping up right this second. So we are going to continue on, talk about how Savi can help you manage your loans, and then we will answer questions with the time we have left at the end. So as you've seen, there is a lot of information out there, and it can be hard to manage it on your own. But luckily, this is where Savi comes in. By working with Savi, we can show you personalized options for income-driven payment plans and help you track your progress towards PSLF. You can also receive updates on things like PSLF improvement, debt relief, and more. So anytime new programs or policies come out, we will be sure to let you know about it, help you take advantage of them. That way you can qualify for everything available to you. We also help you every year recertify your IDR plan and update your employment certification. So when you're enrolled in an income-driven plan, you do need to reapply every year. And as you saw, it's encouraged to update your employment certification each year too. Savi can remind you when it's time to do all of this and help you get those forms in. That way you never miss a deadline and stay on track. And two of the biggest benefits is that you can sign and submit all of your applications right from your Savi account. We create the applications for you digitally and help you get them signed and submitted to make that process as easy as possible. And finally, you can receive personalized support from student loan experts like me and my teammate Katie. Anytime you have questions about your loans or your situation, you can reach out to our support team and we can help you understand all of your options and help make managing your loans as easy as possible. So let's take a look now at what the Savi application looks like. Once you have access to your account, this is what the main dashboard looks like. You'll be able to track everything that you're working on with Savi in one spot. You'll also have access to other information like your profile, see a summary of your loan situation. Basically, everything you need to know about your loans will be right here at a glance on your dashboard. You'll also see announcements for things like student loan updates and announcements letting you know about upcoming workshops. So if you want to stay in the know about your loans, feel free to RSVP for another upcoming workshop right from your dashboard. If you know anyone that has student loans of their own and could use some help, you can invite them from your dashboard. Simply click Invite Friends and Family, and you'll be able to enter their email. They'll get an invite to Savi to sign up so that they can get help with their loans as well. Also, you'll be able to select a Savi plan. Savi does offer different levels of membership. We have our free DIY plan, which is available to everyone at no cost. You'll be able to see what you qualify for and complete the applications to enroll. If you want a little more hands-on support, you can upgrade to our Essential membership, which is a paid membership and allows you to access all of the Savi features like that one-on-one personalized support, access to getting your applications created digitally, ongoing loan monitoring, all of that. So because there are different levels of Savi plans, we encourage you to check out the plans that we offer and find the one that's the best fit for you. Simply click Select a Plan from your dashboard to view what's available. All right, that's an overview of the dashboard. Now let's take a quick look at what the actual application looks like. The first thing that we'll ask for is family information, since we'll use this to help determine your payment on an income-driven plan. Next up, we'll ask for income information. We'll ask how much you pay for your loans, if your income has changed, and what your income is. This is all information that affects your monthly payment on an income-driven plan. So once you enter this, this will help us get you that estimate at the end. You can also enter your employment, and this is beneficial for two reasons. One, it will let you see if your employer qualifies for PSLF. So enter your employer on here and we will let you know if they're a qualifying organization for PSLF. Also, by entering them on here, we'll be able to generate those employment certification forms for you. We can only create forms for employers that you add on this page. So by adding all of your employers, it lets you see if they qualify and ensures that we can create applications for them to get you credit for payments you made while working there. The easiest way to add employers is to simply search through our database and add them to your account. We have over 1 million employers in this database, so it's very likely yours is already in here. Simply search for their name, add your employment dates, and you'll be good to go. After that, you'll be brought to our loan sync page. On this page, you'll be able to add all of your loans to your Savi account. That way we can see what's going on. We like to clarify that Savi isn't a loan servicer, and adding your loans on this page does not take any action on them yet. It simply gives us a snapshot of your loan situation. That way we can get you those estimates. The easiest way to add your loans is to simply sign in with the same username and password as your online servicer. Once you do this, we'll pull in your loan information and we'll be able to see exactly what's going on. We'll be able to see your loan types, your loan balance, how many payments you've made, all of that. If you remember, you do need to have direct loans in order to qualify for PSLF. Adding your loans on this page will help us see what type of loan you have, and if you do need to consolidate, we'll let you know and we'll walk you through that process. So adding your loans is a harmless, really great way to see what you qualify for and help get on track for forgiveness. After you've entered in all of that general information, we'll then show you what you qualify for. We will automatically show you the recommended plan that will help you save the most and get the most forgiveness. So by entering your information, you can see exactly what your payment would be on an income-driven plan. You can see how far along you are to forgiveness and how much forgiveness you can receive. If you want to see the details about how these numbers are calculated, click Show Plan Details to see all of the information about this plan. You can also click Show More Plans to see every income-driven plan that you offer. The plan results page shows you forgiveness combined with enrolling in an income-driven plan. So in each of these scenarios, it will show you what happened by enrolling in an income-driven plan and how much forgiveness you would receive under that plan. You can get all the way up to this spot absolutely free to see what you qualify for. Once you find the best fit for you and you're ready to proceed, simply click Continue and you'll be able to generate your applications. As I mentioned, Savi does have different membership levels. So if you want to create your applications digitally, you will need to be an essential member. If you're an essential member, once you start generating your applications, this is what it looks like. You'll have the option to create an employment certification form for all the employers you added on your account. We will take care of sending that form to your employer, getting it signed, and submitting it for you. That way, all you need to do is, with the click of a button, you'll be able to enroll in PSLF and get on track for forgiveness. Same thing with the income-driven plan. We will take all the information from your application, pre-fill it, and send it to your servicer to help you enroll and get switched over to an income-driven repayment plan. Being an essential member makes this process really easy, really seamless, and stress-free. Once you've created all those applications, you'll be able to track their statuses back on your dashboard. You can see the status of each of your employment certification forms, whether it's been signed, submitted, and processed. You can also track the status of your income-driven repayment plan to know exactly what steps you still need to take to get it to 100%. As you're working through the application, if you have questions, we are here to help. Simply click Contact Support from any page on the Savi website, and you'll be connected with resources. You can consult our Help Center, which includes frequently asked questions, articles on common student loan topics, and even how-to videos that walk you through our website. If you're an essential member, you'll be able to contact support to reach out and get one-on-one help with your student loan situation. We also just launched a brand new call center. So by clicking Contact Support, you'll be able to see our call center number and reach out weekdays from 9 to 5 to get real-time answers to your student loan questions. So how do you get started with Savi? If you are a new member and you haven't gotten a chance to sign up yet, don't worry. After this session, we're going to email you instructions on how you can activate your account to get started. If you want to get started right now, though, simply scan this QR code with your phone, and you'll be taken to the page where you can select your Savi partner and get started. We do have special sign-up pages for specific partners. So be sure to search for the person that referred you to Savi, whether it's your employer, a membership organization like AARP. By selecting that, it will take you to the correct page to get signed up and get started today. All right. I know that was a ton of information, but that is all that we've got for you today. Be sure to create your Savi account if you haven't already. Once you've got access, complete your application to see what you qualify for. And if you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to reach out to support. Thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate your time.